G'day folks, welcome back to another episode of Stuff and Such. We're still on the oak floor project here, and we're about to see if she'll cut straight. She's been a very long journey, and it's getting rather frustrating, so hopefully we succeed soon before I burn the sawmill down. Let's get started. What we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to run the saw back and try doing one single plane here. See if we can true up the face of my cut. So I'm going to bring the blade back, move it over, and see if it'll make this straight. I'm going to try bringing it in to about here, and then at the other end there'll be plenty of it to nip off. Let's get cracking. So the answer to that test is still no. I have a couple little more ideas I'm going to try here. I've tried enough stuff on the sawmill that I'm kind of starting to rule out that it's actually the sawmill that's the issue. I am wondering if perhaps it might be the tooth construction on the blade. From a bit of research I've done, that softwood milling is more forgiving, whereas milling hardwood is not nearly as forgiving when it comes to cutting straight and cutting well. So I have this here blade. I've never tried it before. It's pretty drastically different in construction, how it's made. It has one less tooth, so the tooth is drastically bigger, and also you can see it allows for a lot more clearance to the body. So what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to swap this blade on, and then I'm going to run a test cut and see how it behaves. So these are the different blades. The most important thing on a swing mill is actually if the circumference of the blades aren't almost exact, you can't really milk, because what happens is that, let me show you. So if those points aren't exact, let's say it's smaller, you'll have one cut finish up here and another cut finish down here and over here, so they'll never actually come together. You can adjust it a little bit, but what that will do is bring your cut out a square. So let's say it's like this and like this. So you can tip your blade up, and you can tip it in, up and in, but now you lose your squareness. Not to quite that exaggeration, but within reason for sure. Another thing you can see here is how much wider this tooth is. So that's partly why I've never wanted to use it, being as it's going to take a much larger kerf, meaning it's going to need more power to run. Going to have to run it slower, might chatter. The smaller tooth one hardly has any clearance to the body of the blade, and perhaps that's why it's having issues, whereas the one on the right has piles of clearance, almost too much. But I'm out of options, so this is what we're at. We're going to throw it on, give it a whirl. It's all mounted up in here now. Alright folks, it's time to give this a whirl. Bit of a miserable process getting her here. I don't think this blade's ever been on the sawmill. Actually, I'm pretty sure, because it didn't actually fit. And I had to modify the blade a little bit to make it fit. So it's on there now. It spins pretty true. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a kind of a truing cut. No, not truing cut. A testing square cut. Just to see if the overall dimensions of this blade are close enough to even mill with. If it's not within 90 degrees, like if it's not close to square, that I can kind of fudge it a little bit each way, then there's no sense of really even going much further. So let's get started here. So what these results mean is that the blade is slightly bigger, which is kind of, I guess, a better thing than too small. So let's go ahead and do a cut here. There we have the problem fixed, guys. Turns out it's clearance on the blade not being done properly. Tooth marks are pretty aggressive, but I think I can fix that pretty easy. I had kind of messed around with the mill a little bit more off film, and it's not running 100% true. But yeah, that blade, that thing flipping cuts weirdly good. So that blade actually cuts really well through this. Oh, it cuts like butter. I'm not used to that. The reason I'm kind of intrigued by that is it should actually be using probably 20 to 35% more power because of the size of that tooth difference. It's taking that much more power, not much more chip, so that results in more power needed. But you don't even notice it. Just didn't even bog it down once. So that's interesting. So I'm going to line this blade up, and then hopefully in the next video we'll be pulling boards off. Catch you in the next one, guys. Subscribe.